co-hosting this morning with Jason Moore, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it due to some personal issues at his house. So if you have any wigs, construction from scratch specific questions, I might be able to cover some of that today, but I am not personally an expert on that particular part of wig crafting. I mostly just do wig styling from wig bases and building up on wigs. So I know a little bit, but I don't know as much as Jace does. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a way to contact Jace if you would like to ask him outside of this panel. But I will do the best of my ability to keep this panel running. And I'll be covering a lot more than just what the description describes. I'll just talk about a lot of stuff that I would normally have in the wigs styling, normal wig styling panels. So is that okay with everyone? Alright. I won't be offended if you decide to leave because you don't like me or something.
But we love you.
Okay. Alright, so I guess who all in here who has styled wigs before? You count
Raise an elbow.
Okay,
Elbow.
Alright, who has never worn a wig before?
Never worn a wig?
Or never purchased or used wigs before? Okay, so, alright, so people here have a little bit of knowledge on these for the most part. Okay, first of all, a lot of people who, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, know where they shop for the wigs then. I will give you some recommendations though on some other places. Like, who has like gotten Party City wigs before that they use? And I mean, do most of you guys order like online or yeah? Some of the really popular places are there's like Amphagori.com. They carry the New Look wig brand. That's a really popular brand. Cosworks carries that as well, and those are really popular. They've got a wide variety, and some of them have lots of different colors. There's recently, though, been popping up a lot of wig places all over that have been importing wigs from overseas, like China and Japan. And some of the popular places for those are like, epiccosplay.com and cosplayfoo, and I think eBay has a lot of stuff. There used to be a place on eBay called Professional Only, but I think they no longer have their store open. But there's a lot of other places now that starting to carry the kind of stuff that they do. And then there's also some other places, like I have a lot of wigs here today that I'll be showing you that I got from ardawigs.com, ARDA-wigs. I'll talk about some of the different kinds of, what the advantages are of some of the different wigs and things like that. I guess I probably should go ahead and start with some questions so I can kind of find a direction of where we want to take this. Does anyone have any questions before I start going on? Or do you rather just go on? I could talk about wigs for hours. It's just a matter of.
I'm mostly interested in like adding hair to wigs, having like a short wig base, a wig for a character that has short hair and then 2 long pieces of hair.
Okay, yeah. We could talk about that. And, well, I guess first of all, sometimes the hardest part of getting extensions for a wig is if the wig isn't already, like, I don't know, depending on where you order from, you might not be able to find wig wefts, the exact color of the wig, and you have to find a place that carries both the wig and then the wefts in the same color or another wig. One thing that you can do though is, if you're ordering on eBay and you found a wig that's the perfect color, but you are afraid that if you try to find wefts in the matching color, they won't match. One thing you could do, I mean it's more expensive, is you could order 2, or you could order that wig or 2 of the same wig and use wefts from one into another. If you're trying to get longer wefts from one wig and add that into them, that might be harder because then you have to find 2 wigs of the liking color. But you can find on, for example, Arda wigs, they do have wigs, they have a good selection of color swatches, and you can select which color you're looking for, and they'll show you all the styles available. And they don't carry wefts, but they carry ponytail clips, which you can actually take apart. And that's another thing too. If you're on eBay and you find those pigtail wigs that come with pigtails, pigtails, but it has a short style, you can go ahead and get the pigtail wig, and you can take those pigtails and take them apart and use the long hair for those to incorporate. But as far as incorporating wefts into a wig, basically you've got two options to work for when it comes to hair extensions. There's the wefted wefts of hair that basically, that's what a wig is made of. It's made of wefts, where you've got like a line that's sewn together with hair all hanging from it. It's all connected on a string. But sometimes you don't have that option and you just have loose hair to work with. And in that case, you want to make homemade extensions to be able to get that into a wig. And I can talk about that too. Basically, sorry, I'm a little nervous because I haven't done none of these by myself. Basically, you know, if most of you know how wigs are, like they'll have a, I guess I'll go ahead and get one of these. One second.
Not a good idea to stay up on.
Okay, I have just a wig I got from Art Acre. You see how there's lines all across the back of that are attached to these lace pieces on the wig? Basically, if you're wanting to add extensions in, depending on how the style is worked, like if it's more just adding length to the wig, you probably just need to tack it on to the lace. Like you basically mimic how it's already done, but you want to do it in between them. If you're doing like attachments, it really depends on what style you're doing. See, like I made a ponytail attachment for this wig right here out of extra hair. Like this wig actually was really long originally to begin with. I bought a long wig because I knew I had to make an extra ponytail attachment. So I decided to use the extra hair that I didn't need to incorporate back into the wig, so I didn't have to spend extra money on buying like pigtail clips or hair extensions. So that's another cost-efficient thing you can do. In that way, like, you know, you can always make a longer wig short, but it's just harder to do it the other way around. I mean, what is the style that you're exactly?
Medusa, Solider.
Solider? Yeah, you got like the flippy and
The flippy hair and then the two long.
Yeah, basically, since that's such a simple style in that the hair just goes downwards and you're not trying to do anything wonky to make it go up, you can just like, depending on the wig, like some wigs have a skin cap in the top or like a skin piece, like where the hair is parted in the front. Yeah, and I don't have any examples right here, but if people want to, I guess, check it out, if you don't mind, they can come look at it. But some wigs have a little skin piece to make the hair look more natural whenever it's parted, so it looks actually like a scalp. But if you're doing something like that, it might be a bit harder if there's a scalp in the way to add extensions, because it's just not really meant to. It's, you know, if you're trying to add wefts, it's like you can't do that. I think there's a way that you can like use a needle and kind of like get hair extensions through that to add more to it, but I haven't done that personally, so I'm no expert on it. But if it's just a normal wig, you know, that has the wefts, you can just take more wefts and just, you know, split where the hair is, you know, part the hair and figure out where to place those extensions, and then, you know, make sure you have enough hair above it that you can kind of hide where you've sewn that in. If you don't have wefts to work with and you're wanting to make homemade hair extensions out of loose hair, there's a few techniques you can do. The more easiest method is to use some sort of adhesive, like some people use caulk, like the kind of stuff in your bathrooms, or some people use hot glue if the hair is heat resistant, or you can use a variety of things. You can just glob a lot of like fabric glue or something, but caulk is really good because it's not going to go anywhere. But basically, you can take your loose hair and you can lay it out get like a ribbon and lay it out, and then take your caulk and dab a ton of it on the ribbon and spread it out, and then you put your loose hair on top of that. Preferably, if the hair is long enough, do it down like so you can make more extensions out of it because you're going to cut it in half at the end. But then you can dab more caulk on the top, you know, and turn it over, and then you can cut it down the center to make it nice and neat. But that might be a little harder to sew through if you're trying to use a machine or needle. I have made hand like sewn wefts before, and it's a bit longer of a process, but it can be done. Basically, what you can do is you can get like a meshy fabric or ribbon, and you can lay down your hair onto it, and you turn the tension on your sewing machine to like the highest tension setting, and you on a very, very tiny stitch, and you want to like run that through onto the ribbon, go down the middle of the ribbon. And then once you do that, you might do it a couple times to keep it secure. And then you can fold the hair over, like so the ribbon is at the top, and then you sew that down so you got extra thickness there. So you got some nice thick wefts that you don't have to sew in as many of them. I wish I had pictures to show, but I didn't realize I'd be doing this. So,
Do you have a website?
yes, I actually have. If you search on DeviantArt, there's a really good homemade wefts tutorial. I haven't posted my own yet. I actually did take some progress pictures of. I did a aqua wig from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and the wig I used originally was really long. And most wigs that are really long, when you try to cut them short, it just doesn't work as well as just getting a short wig from the start because it's not meant to be so short. So sometimes they don't have even as many wefts as a shorter wig does, or it's not fluffed just right. So whenever I cut the wig short, it just seemed really thin to me. So I used the extra hair that I had, and I made extra extensions to thicken it, just to thicken it. There's a ton of tutorials for it online, so I really haven't bothered putting out my own yet. But on my DeviantArt, it's Malindachan, Malindachan, or you can email me at malindachan.deviantart.com. That's probably the best way to contact me because I check my notes there more than I check my normal email account. But contact me via note because I don't check my comments as frequently because sometimes it floods. So, basically, though you can do that though with if you find loose hair in the right color, or if you do the method where you've got a long wig that you want to cut short. But if you just want to, sometimes I would say for Medusa it would be easier to have a short wig that does that flippy thing, and then get hair extensions in the right color. It's just a matter of where you shop is, finding the right color extensions and stuff like that. Sewing them in. But yeah, you can sew them by machine or hand sewing. I prefer hand sewing because sometimes the hair likes to get in the way as I'm trying to sew it by machine. But if you use like hairpins and clips to keep that sewn all the way, you have some good luck with it. You just might want to, obviously pin them in place maybe on a wig head, so that way you're not surprised later if it ends up being way too, like it tightens it or something. You might try like seeing how it fits on your head before you actually sew it. Just be careful not to stab yourself with pins, but yeah. Any other questions people like to answer? Yes?
How do you make Super Saiyan hair?
Super Saiyan hair? Well, there's a few different. Some people can manage with just the right wig. They can get it to style like that. But probably the easiest way I would say to get that kind of style would be you want to make a base out of something that's not a wig, and then build up with like hair extensions and stuff. I've known people that have made Super Saiyan hair out of like cardboard or craft foam. First, like they'll basically make the shape out of something that adheres well with glue, and then they'll use, whether it's hot glue, it really depends on again, the heat, how heat resistant the fibers are. You can take, or caulk or other kinds of adhesives, and you can load that up onto the base of your foam or your cardboard, and then you can take hair extensions, hair wefts, whatever. You can even just take loose hair and just tack it on straight on. You don't have to make wefts out of it. And you can just, carefully glue it in place, and then spray it maybe with some hairspray, and just do some layers of that.